Today I will be drawing a caricature of the Queen of England, and I'll be explaining what I'm thinking about and what I'm doing. I'm using a reference off a magazine. I did like to do it off the TV by pushing pause, but then I would lose my pause. It would start moving after a while, or the TV would kind of go off. With a caricature, that still does kind of work pretty well because your caricature usually doesn't take that long to draw, but a portrait, it's a little harder because that sometimes takes longer. All right, well, I'm using a magazine and I'm going to use a picture of the Queen of England. So, when I do a caricature, I start out first imagining how it's going to fit on the paper. Usually, I have the head pretty big right here, and the body small, and then big feet. And then she's wearing, in this picture, she's wearing one of these big hats. And so I think I could exaggerate that. A caricature usually has a little bit of humor, not hilarious, but just sort of a humorous edge, kind of like people. It just is a little funny looking, but it's not, hilarious, but it's sort of in the humor realm rather than serious. Okay, so anyway, if you find something that you can exaggerate a little or make a little funny, you do it. Okay, so anyway, here's the Queen of England. Okay, so a lot of times when people are learning how to draw portraits or they're drawing portraits, they like to use guidelines. But if you're ever doing caricatures live in front of people, you can't really draw these guidelines. I mean, unless maybe you do a pencil sketch first. But if you're usually what I do is I go right in with the Sharpie, begin and end with the Sharpie, and any mistakes I make, I just have to make adjustments as I go. All right, so let's start. So I'm looking at her face, and I think what I should do here, because she's got this big giant hat on, is I think I should start with the shape of her head, because I see her cheeks come down a certain way. They're kind of real rounded, so I will start with that, but I have to leave enough room for this big hat, because I think the hat should be really big. All right. So that's her hair over here, so I'll put that in, I guess, right now. And she's got an earring, and I think I'll exaggerate it too. Okay, and then I'm going to come around and do her head, or her cheek. Comes out like this. And then her chin comes down. And then the opposite side of her face comes up like this. And it's really rounded, so I'm going to exaggerate that a little bit. And then come up by her eyebrows. And here's the other side of her hair. And it comes down like that. Okay. Next is the eyes and the nose. Okay. So I'm going to imagine that guideline going across. I'm going to try to see on my reference or my photograph where exactly about this line starts. And I think it goes something like this. There's an eyebrow coming down here. I think that will help me if I draw that. And then there's an eyebrow over here too. But it's really light, so I have to be careful. Not because I'm drawing with a Sharpie, not to make it too dark. All right, now I got to do these eyes. Okay, so from the eyebrow, I do see kind of a real sharp, dark area there. And this part's dark too. All right, and then she has sort of a long nose. So what I do to figure out the nose placement is I usually draw the eyes first, and then I make a triangle from the outside corners of each eye to the tip of the nose. And I look at the subject or the reference, and I imagine this imaginary triangle going from the outside corners of each eye to the tip of the nose on my reference, and then I try to move that same triangle shape to my drawing. Okay, so first I got to get these eyes in. Okay, in this picture I'm using, she's got a big smile, and so her eyes are real kind of squinty. All right, let's see if I can do this. then this eye kind of goes up like that, and all right, next. Okay, so now I'm going to do that thing I was talking about with the triangle to shape to figure out where the tip of the nose goes. So I'm going to look at this picture of the queen, and I'm going to, I might move it down closer, because sometimes if you're looking at something far away, the angle will be off and then it won't look like the person. So you kind of want to be, you know, looking straight on, okay, as much as possible. So I'm looking at this photograph and I'm trying to imagine a triangle on my reference that goes from this corner to that corner to the tip of the nose. And I think the triangle goes about like, I think that would be the tip of her nose. And I don't really want to make a mark there because it's permanent marker. Okay, so let me see the shape of her nose, because I'm going to try to draw it in one kind of swoop. All right, it looks like it goes from here. It comes down like that. Goes up like that. All right. And then it kind of comes around like that. And I think that's how I'm going to leave that for now. Okay. Next, the smile. Okay, so the smile on this picture is pretty wide. So I'm sort of looking for what lines up with what. When I look at the smile on the picture that I'm looking at, I will see, okay, the corner of the mouth, what does it line up with? What part of the eye? Well, the right corner of the mouth lines up almost outside of the whole eye. That's how wide this smile is. And I could put a dot right there. Let me see. Oh, but there. Goes something like that. I think I'm going to leave it right about, let's see. I think that's about right. So I'm going to go right there. And the other side, because she's at an like 3/4 view almost at an angle, goes to about right here. And I'm kind of checking how far down from the nose. I think it's about like this, right about there is a real point, but it gets wider later. Okay, now I'm looking at the shape across the mouth. It comes down, goes straight across for a long ways. So it comes a little bit down and goes straight across and up. All right. I'm not going to worry about that little mistake right there. Sometimes if you worry too much about it or you try to fix it, it makes it worse than it would have been if you just leave it. Because right now that could just be a wrinkle or a dimple. So I'm not going to worry about it right now. All right, so now I got to get her bottom, the bottom shape of her mouth. All right, it angles in like this, and then it comes down and it goes across again. And then comes up in the corner. All right, and then she's got, in this picture, her teeth are really kind of showing, really showing. So I'm going to draw them, even though usually I try to avoid teeth because it can really look, it's really a difficult part of it. But in this picture, I think it'll be interesting and make it look like her to show her teeth. Because when I look at what I'm looking at, this picture of her, it really looks like her, and I think a big part of that is her teeth. Because she has a big smile. Maybe we've seen her smiling a lot, but there. And then these parts are dark, so I'm going to color those in. All right, next. All right, there we go. Okay, so now you have to be really careful on the wrinkles. If you're drawing somebody, even in a caricature, people don't want to, if you're doing this live at a fair or something like that, you have to, I mean, you do have to use some wrinkles because it's got to look like the person and it's got to somewhat look their age, but you have to be really careful. You don't draw, even if they say, I want it just like me. You're always just making. One time I had this lady at this fair come up to me and she's like, I want it just, but she might have had a few, but she was saying, I want it just like me. I don't care how it looks. You're just making everybody look nice and blah, blah, blah. And she kept going on and on. So I did. I drew every single wrinkle and, oh, but it didn't go well. She wasn't happy. She was really mad. And that was that situation. So what I've learned is even if people act like they want it just like them and every wrinkle and every eight, no. You got to take it easy on the wrinkles because you just do the biggest, most pronounced ones. If you put too many, it really starts to look older than the person even really is. So the Queen of England, and she kind of has really white powdery skin, so I'm gonna try not to include too many wrinkles. Okay, so now let me work on this big hat. Oh, and I see in the earring, it sort of has some reflections. Reflections kind of look cartoony and fun too, so I'm going to go like that. All right, so let's do the hat. She's got kind of one of those big English looking dressy hats. That's these props that she's wearing, the costume stuff, is really going to help make it look like her. I hope. All right, so now I got that hat, or the bottom of the hat. I'm going to make a rim. Like that. And then, let's see. Then the hat kind of comes up right here. Goes like that. And then comes down. And there's sort of this ribbon with this big flower. So I'm going to draw some flowers. Looking at her flowers that she's got. Since I have this picture with all this. Okay, and that will be the flowers. Okay, now I got to do the top of the hat. And it sort of looks like a hat like out of the Cat in the Hat. All right, so I'm going to draw this ribbon part. And then I'll draw the top of the hat, which kind of comes up like this. And comes across like this. Something like that. All right, so now I'm going to leave it like that. And the next thing is to draw her. Well, I think I do need a few wrinkles. Like she needs these dimples here. Or whatever comes, I don't know if it's dimples, but whatever comes down from here. I mean, she is kind of old, so you do have to include some wrinkles, but just try not to go overboard or it won't seem very nice. All right, and then this part of the eye sort of goes down like that. I think this eyebrow needs a little more work. Okay, let me see. Okay, so here's another kind of queen-ish thing that'll help me convince people that it's the queen. It's sort of like, a detective, you're given clues, and you try to have so many clues that who else could it be, And before you know it, it really starts to add up and look like that person. All right, now unfortunately I can't see the whole outfit, and I'm not really a clothes person, so I don't really know what it looks like, so I'm just going to have to wing it, but I think that's okay. All right, so it seems to me she has like one of these puffy sleeve suits that's fuzzy kind of. All right, and it comes down like this. And I'll draw it on the other side. Now I'm making it up, so hopefully I do a good job on this part. And now I gotta also make her smaller because that's kind of how I do it. All right, so here's this. And I think her hair needs to be a little more stringy and curly. I think that'll help a little. All right, so now make this arm. And in the picture I'm looking at, she's holding some flowers. So I'm gonna have her holding some flowers because that will help to make it look. Okay, and then I've got to finish off this outfit. Let's see, she's got some pins on herself. Something here. And then I think maybe it has something like this, but I'm not sure. But all right, then I'm gonna make it come in like this. Get real small. Okay, and let's see. Then I'm going to put these big shoes on her to make it sort of funny. All right, then I feel like the shoes need some kind of design or something. Maybe I could put like some kind of flower on them because it seems like she must like flowers. Okay. And maybe some kind of stitching too. They look a little bit like, well, I think it's okay. And I'll put a bow. Some kind of. Okay, now, I don't know, I feel like that outfit needs a little more. I wish I could see more of what this suit is like. I don't know, maybe if I put stitching on the suit a little bit like this, it would help people understand, okay, this is part of the suit that she's wearing. All right, I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, and then I'll go, because I think it's some kind of, I don't know if it's called tweed or what, but it seems like it's like a, sewn type of, or like a texture or coat. All right, there we go. Okay, then we got to fill in the rest of it. We got to think of, okay, what else could be in this picture? One, we got somewhere we got to have her name or the queen. I'm just going to say the queen. I'm not going to say Queen Elizabeth. That's too long. All right, so I think I'll go the queen. Okay, so let me think. Where can I put this? So I'm looking around the picture, thinking, where could this go? And while I'm thinking, what else could be in this picture? Maybe a castle or something, if there's any room. Okay, I'm gonna write the queen. Let me see how I can do this. I think it should go here. That's the most space. Okay. Maybe I'll overlap this a little bit. Make a big Q. I just remembered, I think I have that concert tape. That was awesome. I think I'm going to watch that again. That, I think it was the Golden, or the Jubilee. It was so cool. All right, the Queen. All right, and it needs more attention to this, I think. So maybe if I make it a little 3D. But maybe it's okay. It kind of blends in with the rest of the drawing. And it's the only words, so... And it's interesting, the queen, the way I wrote it. Okay, so let's see. I'll put an underline. All right, and then I need something... It definitely needs some more things. So maybe it needs some land. Maybe her public, like her fans, or all the people. So I'll put little people back here. And they're all going to be cheering. Yay, the queen. Okay, let's see. And then, what else do we need? Maybe some flags. And then, yeah, stuff like that. Okay, now I think this looks okay down here. Now I just need something up here. And I think maybe like some kind of hill or mountain with a castle or something. Let me think. Let's see what I can do without... I don't want to take away too much. So maybe it'll be like this. Maybe it'll be... Yeah, like a hill back there. And then way back here you'll see some kind of castle. Even though, you know, it's not wherever they live. I don't know if it's Buckingham Palace or what. But you'll get the idea. See, another clue that helps people understand. Oh, it's the queen. So if you kind of have it looking pretty much like the queen, but you throw in all this other stuff, it really helps. And you get better by practicing, you know. I mean, when I was first starting to do these, I practiced with the TV. I would pause it on different shows. So if you're really interested in this, it's a great thing. Just set up your sit there all day long with your sketch pad and start drawing. I mean, you should have some portrait experience probably. That helps a lot. But you know, sit there with your pad and of drawing paper and Sharpie and just start pausing the TV on really well-known people. You know, like when I was practicing the first time, I was like Dr. Phil. I did Dr. Phil and Oprah and people like that. All right, well, anyway, so now I can't think of what should be there, but maybe there's almost enough. It just needs one little thing. Maybe some stars. You can always throw some stars in. If you can't think of what to do, or fireworks. There. Yay. All right, and that's my caricature drawing example of the queen. Come back and you'll see some more of these, hopefully.